Yeah, time for another DraftPhysics.com video presentation here on YouTube, which is a horrible place and hates our freedom and all of that stuff. Just point out, it is this whole public accommodation argument that will likely have to be made as a legal argument eventually. And clearly, our free speech rights have migrated onto this technology. And the technology needs to understand we have an American Constitution, it defends free speech. And it's really important that things that are fit into that category of deliberate words spoken, okay, should only be censored in the worst case scenario. Only resort to war kind of thing. It's a last resort to something called offensiveness or whatever. Obviously, there are rules like that. You can't protest in front of the White House and just swear all day, kind of thing. There's obscenity laws and all that stuff. And the truth is Google's already been basically protected from any personal responsibility for obscenity on the internet, frankly. Their own search results prove that. You can search on something and they'll show you pornography, because it comes up on the internet. They're not liable for that. And they're likewise not liable for our indiscretions. And so the point is they have to manage it for the people who use YouTube, and that discretion has to be used carefully. The point is that you can't create an atmosphere that is discriminatory or hostile to people exercising a legitimate free speech opportunity. And clearly that's what Google is doing. It's done in the past. It continues to do. It has lousy standards. They're incomprehensible standards. They're double standards in the sense the duplicity is obvious. Some person can get away with it. The other person can't get away with it. No reason to understand why those distinctions exist, except one is their friend and one of them is their enemy. One of them's white and one of them's black. It's that kind of thing. They have a philosophical bigotry, and it's clear. I had a channel called Do Not God, and they exterminated it. And it's clear they'd exterminated it because they didn't like that it was offended somebody. Period. There was nothing else to it. And that shouldn't be the standard for a monopoly. And the fact is Google does have a monopoly, frankly, in this method of video presentation of free speech rights. They do have the monopoly. They own the territory. They own all the parks that surround the White House, so to speak. So the only way you can protest, right? Certain people can get a permit to protest, where the White House could hear them, and other people have to go to Wyoming, okay, and do their talking. Can't be heard from Wyoming. It's not going to happen. So it's a real factual circumstance. The Supreme Court has already ruled on these issues in the sense that they understand the migration of our constitutional rights have migrated to the technology. So they're not going to win the legal case. It doesn't matter how big the corporation is. The fact is they can't undo what the court has already said over and over again. Okay, so those people who think it's a LOL lawsuit, go ahead, laugh your asses off. Somebody else is going to get the last laugh, and you're going to be on the floor as as dirt and rubbish. You're going to be on the ash heap of the history. Okay, you're going to be in this "he was a shithead" pile. Anyway, so I have made a few videos and created some categories. There are 2 versions of the website now. They actually do work. Use the links I'll put in the comments section, because the website on the Ephelism domain works, is better updated, let's just say that, than the website on the old Do Not Go domain, which GoDaddy can't provide consistent access to. So I can't produce a website using GoDaddy. It's just can't be done. they won't let me do it, let's put it that way. So it could be another act of discrimination, obviously. They don't like your content, they put you on the shit server. So, that'd be an interesting... This is all interesting stuff, right? We'd all like to know, if companies actually have this policy. I'd like to know what other websites are on the server my website is on. And I have a suspicion that it's all the shittiest websites possible, because they want to mistreat them. Because they don't want them as customers, frankly. And they don't have the guts to say that to the customer's face. They don't have the guts to, show their ism, the ism they possess. Because they might be held accountable for that discrimination. And, somebody might give a damn. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. So, I don't know when the last video I was on, but I did do a unification video, pretty good, in terms of an outline video of all the subjects sort of included. The expansion one is mostly about redshift and the fact that you can understand that redshift could have numerous causes. And the fact is that physics doesn't even want to consider the different causes for redshift. I mean, obviously something could be moving away from you, it's redshifted, you could be moving away from it, or there could be something in between you. Okay. But anyway, so I think it provides an interpretation of the evidence that's more reasonable than their interpretation of the evidence, clearly. Charge and attraction and repulsion is kind of a video I should have done a while ago. It just gets into this subtle complexity that, we have to understand that the universe might not just be one thing, okay? It might be two things. And so that's a plus and minus. And the plus and minus feature might move, not only to matter itself, but to the forces that control the matter. So you might have to count to two. Instead of just counting to one, you might have to count to two. You might have to push your brain that far and figure out that there's two kinds of force and two kinds of matter and two kinds of interactions. So it does go through that. So then I decided to make a category on the subjects, kinetic energy, unification, magnetism, photons, expansion, charge, and the experiments. Because some of these physics details are actually, some of these physics theories are actually a byproduct. They actually have some experimental evidence for some of them. Unlike kinetic energy and photons, and a lot of them, they don't have any experimental evidence that's, rationally defined. Some of them there is evidence, and so it'd be good to go through some of the experiments and their interpretation of the experiments. So in this kinetic energy one, I go through some of the experiments and the ones that are missing. And the fact is that you can sort of deduce from the experiments not done that, they're not done for a reason. I don't even make that point, frankly, in the video, but they're not done for a reason. And the reason is because they don't show the existence of this extra energy. But anyway, and then today's video was the faster than wind car provoked by a kind of rude comment. And so I give you my current explanation that's a little more direct and simple than any past video where I pointed out that this has to have something to do with it or that has to say, this one's a little more simple, a little more direct as an explanation. Sort of a byproduct of a comment interaction I had with Warbles on a lot on a Piro video. But anyway, regardless, probably unnoticed by most of you. But anyway, so I think that's about it. So you can comment on this website. There is a comment feature here. It does seem to work. I mean, I can hit it and you can comment in there. So no one's chosen to, so I have put up videos in the comment section. I will be, I won't post the comments live, and so I do review them and such, because there's no point in trusting any of you to post something reasonable. Anyway, yeah, so that's about it. So, if you know anything about reading a URL, you'll be able to see the difference between the two websites. One is ephilism.com/ds, the other one's /dp. and blah blah blah. And the videos have rather simple labels. Technically, I'm just saying that's where the website is. It's going to be on both domains. It's going to be in numerous places, but I'm just saying the one that should work, should be updated regularly anyway, will be this one, and this one. So anyway, so that's probably enough of a video. So yeah, I just, there's nothing I can say. I mean, some people want to play along with YouTube. I think it should be protested. I think it should be, it needs to be punished, because it's an arrogant company that thinks it can do anything it wants and thinks it has ultimate power and all this crap, and it just shouldn't have the liberty to just play these obvious duplicitous games with our vital and fundamental rights. It's just so wrong, and people really should be pissed off, really pissed off, really angry enough to you know, do what they can to discourage participation in the Googleplex. Sanction Google. Reward and punishment is just so fundamental to life. You don't get anything. Nobody does anything without rewards and punishment. And if you don't think if you think the world's going to change because you do absolutely nothing, it's really not going to happen that way. So I'm going to do what I can, and part of the hit I'm taking is the fact that yes, my videos won't be as accessible. I won't be able to do exactly what I want to do, which is be able to speak. I can only speak this, you know, out in the wilderness kind of argument. You know, you have to go to the wilderness to start the march towards change, and that's just a sad fact that we haven't created institutions that provide the opportunity for expedient and efficient change. Google needs to understand it has a huge responsibility. What it has in its hands is a hugely important thing, and it's taking it very casually. And frankly, their actions in the current case were just sadistic. That, you know, they weren't even. There's no rationality to it. Anyway, I mean, nothing can be defended as them doing something honorable for the human race. They disgraced us all and insulted us all. You should feel it, frankly. You know. But anyway, till the next time and such. This has been a DraftPhysics.com video presentation. Only on YouTube, because that's where the White House is. You know, that's, you know, if you're going to be heard, you have to go where the crowd is. That's where the crowd is. And so that's the only reason why I'm using this piece of shit technology provided by this horrible, evil corporation that's never done anything except attempt to advance its own interest. Making money is the only thing it cares about, and everything else is superfluous to its purpose of just making people rich. Scumbags. Rich. Hateable ambitions, frankly.